Hey everybody, it's Kevin Hoagland from the GPAA, and I am outside of Stanton, Arizona, and I'm going to take you on a driving tour of some brand new claims. Now, for those of you that have been around the GPAA for a long time, you'll remember the original Lucky Linda claims. Well, over the years, those claims were split up and then became different ownership, and a few months ago that I found out that the big group of claims was actually going to be back open again. So I grabbed a handful of the members of the GPAA claims crew. We came out, we prospected, we staked, and we filed and recorded 160 acres, now called the Lucky Linda again. What I did is I took a lot of the areas that I worked over the years where I was very productive and found a lot of different areas for some great gold, and those are the areas that we claimed. So the biggest problem has been ingress, understanding the ingress. Now, when you leave Highway 89, if you're coming out of Prescott, if you're coming out of Phoenix, and you turn east on Stanton Road, you'll go past the LDMA camp in the town of Stanton and follow that out to our first destination point, which is right here at Decision Corner. Now, from Decision Corner, you have two choices. You can go to the right and take Angels Ranch Road that will take you down to the southwest and the what everybody's dubbing the dreaded southeast entrance, or you can stay on the Stanton Octave Road and take that out till it hits a private property line, and then take that road south towards north side of the western side of the claims. You'll see it in the map. Now, the north entrance is really suitable for a good high clearance two-wheel drive pickup. The southwest, not so much, and then the southeast, I absolutely recommend four-wheel drive. And along the way, I'm going to stop at a couple of spots and share with you the material that I was working back when these were the original Lucky Linda claims. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get on to the claims.
And when that train comes rolling in, I'm taking everything I can. Yeah.
I'm back and I'm at the turn for the northwest ingress to where you will head south. That, as I shared before, will take you into the northern end of the southern part of the claims. And again, look at the map, you'll figure it all out from there. But this is pretty much the end of the road. Now, this is a spot that we used to call the Chicken House. As you're coming down the Stanton Octave Road, you'll come to an area where you'll see a large tank, the one that's behind me over here on my right, and you'll also see the private property and the fence line. This is where you will turn and you will head south. Now, there's two poles that have been here for God knows how long, and that's also a landmark of where you want to turn and you start to head south. And then our next stop is going to be at the old White Pipe Cathedral, which is the fence line that runs east and west, and it's actually on the same fence line where the northwest and the northeast corner markers are for the Lucky Linda again. Let's head out there. So this is the place that somehow or another got called the Chicken House, and quite frankly, I don't even understand that. I've been here for, I don't know, coming down this road for over 30 years, and I've never seen a single chicken coop or a chicken. You'll catch a lot of cows out here, but that's about it. And as you can see, the road is rough, and I do recommend that you want to have a two-wheel drive high clearance vehicle because it does get a little bit rougher as we go on. But I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat. Just to kind of give you an idea, it's hard to beat the beauty of the Arizona desert. This is the first fence line you're going to come to, and this is an area, this is the east-west boundary lines for the claim. Claim runs straight down, then dog legs, then dog legs, then dog legs again. Now, this gate, if you're going to go through this, the only thing that I ask that you do is, because there are cattle out here, please be respectful and close the gate behind you. So this is what the southwest ingress looks like from Angels Ranch Road. I came down from the northwest to the southwest, but if you come down Angels Ranch Road, this is what you're going to see. And of course, I and other members will have the GPS coordinates to this spot posted on the online mining guide for the reviews of the Lucky Linda again. Now we're going to continue down Angels Ranch Road, and then we're going to enter the wash down at the bottom of this one hill, and that's going to be the southeast ingress. Now as you're coming down the road, you'll pass a sign that says Angels HQ with an arrow pointing to the left, and Box Canyon with an arrow pointing to the right. And you're going to stay to the left, and when you drop into the biggest wash, well, you'll turn in, and that's where the sand starts. So let's head down that direction. I'm going to have to probably go into four-wheel drive because we've had a lot of weather here, and I don't expect that sand to be very friendly. Well, finding the wash to get to the southeast ingress is not very hard. It's going to be a massive wash that you cross, and that is your view as you start heading up. Now, of course, that point coming into the wash is already marked on the online mining guide, and the second part is as well, the second point of entrance is as well, and the third point is marked, and that'll take you right into the claim. This is a beautiful, beautiful location in through here. It's amazing at what nature does. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's see if we can get you a little bit different perspective of what this whole area looks like. So I have GPS coordinates for the first ingress, which is the one off of Angels Ranch Road. I also have the GPS coordinates for the second ingress, or the second point, which is nothing more than just a little section off of a wash that, quite frankly, is probably missed more than it's seen. And from the looks of it, looks like some folks have been able to find it this week. But after a good rain, this really disappears, and boy, we are struggling. All right, now this is how you get into the second wash, and this will lead you into the actual claim ingress. And then, as I promised, I'll share with you a couple of spots, or at least one spot where I got into that made the Lucky Linda's, original Lucky Linda's, one of my favorite claims. All right, now this is the location of the third GPS point to get you into this. And let me speak from experience. If you come into this section and you turn right, you've got to follow the GPS points, because if you turn right, and again, from experience, you're going to drive a long way up a wash that's not going to go anywhere except to a dead end that you're going to have to turn around and come back. So, now, so far, I'm in two-wheel drive, but I've also got really aggressive tires that are designed to do this. It's up to you, folks. I mean, you know what you can do, you know what your skill levels are, and you know what your vehicles are capable of doing. I just suggest that you pay real close attention to this next little section and figure out if you want to try to do this in a two-wheel drive vehicle. Because it looks like I'm going to end up in four-wheel drive. Oh, that's soft and crunchy. Well, there you go. One good reason to have four-wheel drive coming into this claim. Now, as you can see, the mineralization changes here are really drastic. It goes from being kind of a light colored to even dark, very, very dark reds. And it was this one area right in here that we're driving through now that is what got me started really prospecting these claims on a weekly basis. and is what brought me back, and was so excited to be able to grab this set of claims for the GPAA membership as well now. And you'll notice that the ground mineralization changes very, very drastically. You want to look for those iron spots. You want to look for those spots, and I'll show you one when we get up here just a little bit further. One of the most important things that I can tell you about coming out to these claims is keep an eye on the change in the mineralization. You know, you'll be driving along and you'll see basically almost white ground, white mineralization, and then it changes to a little bit darker red, then it gets extremely dark. In those extremely dark red areas, there's literally hundreds of them, and as I said earlier, some of them are about the size of, you know, some of them can be as small as a trash can lid, and others are just monstrous. But look for those areas, and then start looking for all the indicators. Look for the greenstone, look for the yavapai schist, look for the quartz, the vuggy quartz, and I know I'm getting ready to get into one of those. I'm going to share it with you before we get to the far north end of the claim, and I'm going to show you the buffer zone, and then I think I'm going to do some prospecting. There are endless opportunities on the Lucky Linda again claims. If you're coming into the southeast ingress, it is the toughest way to get in, but there is a road that leads from the southeast end of the claim all the way up to the northern end, and includes the buffer zone that I'll show you here in just a couple of minutes. But when you enter this claim, look for the mineralization changes, as I was talking about as we were coming up that first section of the road. Those areas like that, where you have that distinct and fast and quick mineralization changes, you know, it goes from being this white to kind of a lightish red to sometimes just almost a blood red area. And when you start looking at it, you're going to see the quartz material. You're going to see that vuggy quartz, meaning very pitted material. The greenstone, the yavapai schist, all of those materials that you'll find. Another thing to look out for is look for the bedrock, because the bedrock, there's fractures in the bedrock all through this claim. Wherever the bedrock pops up, you'll see these fracture zones. And around those fracture zones, as you start to look at them, you may see a whole lot of material piled up on the back side, and then hardly any material on the front side. But if you look real closely, you'll see that there's a drop. You know, there could be anywhere from a 2 or 3 inch drop to a 6 inch drop or something like that, even sometimes even more. And you'll see a lot of material backed up in that area, and then, you know, a lot less material down below. Those are the areas that it's generally, when I'm finding those, I'm finding them because there are these incredible bedrock faults and so on like that, where you've had this breaking and you have all this material that piles up. And gold and everything, gold loves gravity, so it's going to move, and it gets to that point, and then it won't make it up over that bedrock. Find those spots. Those are the spots where I've done the very, very best with a metal detector. And in some cases, you know, I've never worked an area more than 20, 25 feet and found some incredible pieces of gold, you know, out there with metal detecting. Now, honestly, I've done a little bit of dry washing on this claim over the years, but not a lot. Most of my time's been spent metal detecting. The times that I did dry wash, I didn't bother getting down into the lower reaches of the wash. I followed those minerals. I followed the trends. I looked at all the material that was coming down, and knowing that the wash is the last place that the gold's going to end up. So I would get into those areas and start to follow those trends, and then find where it would flatten out, almost like an old bench, and start working those areas. And those areas with the dry washer were the ones that were the most successful as well. You know, have people work down in the wash? Of course they have. Have they found some gold down there? Absolutely. I mean, it is the final resting place. But I'm looking for that bigger, heavier, crunchier stuff that just hasn't made it down that far yet. And over the years, I've done real well on these claims. But it is a prospector's claim. Don't expect to just come out here, get out of the truck, and just start finding gold. You have to look for it. You have to take every bit of information that I and others offer you and just start looking for those areas. Find those spots where you feel like there should be gold. All right, we're getting ready to get up to the northwest buffer area, or the northern buffer area. So I'm gonna head down the road, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. I'm at the far north end of the Lucky Linda again claims. Behind me you see a water tank and there's some other equipment. The rancher that has grazing rights on this land and land rights for grazing take a lot of precedent in the state of Arizona. Now, you're supposed to be about 500 feet away from any open stock tank or any holding tank that's part of a grazing lease. So there'll be a sign that will tell you that this is the buffer zone. Now, that buffer zone includes the road and about 100 feet to either side, east and west. Now, doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a chunk of land. There's 160 acres out here, folks. You don't have 10 lifetimes to be able to go and prospect all of these areas. Now, it's spotty. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to hit a spot where you're just going to go in there and just prospect and find a bunch of gold. I've had patches that could be 2 or 3 little pieces of gold. I've gone into other areas just like that that had absolutely nothing. If every red spot contained gold, I probably would just live out here the rest of my life and just hit all these red spots. But there's a lot of good opportunity from there all the way down. As I said, when I looked at these claims and the ground that I wanted, I kind of cherry picked it. I picked the areas that I've worked in the past back in the days of the original Lucky Linda, and just wanted to give all GPAA members, LDMA members, an opportunity to get on some really great gold. So check the online mining guide. Look for the claims. You'll see my reports, others' reports. You'll be able to get all the GPS coordinates to get you all the way around the claim and enjoy. The most important thing is get out and prospect.